Imagine a world where nothing ever changed. Well, you might look like this, or like this, and we might look like this.
The Columbia Broadcasting System presents yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Well, you changed, and so did we. We're reaching new listeners in new ways. The CBS radio stations of New York are high-impact foreground delivery platforms. They're powerful individually, and even more powerful collectively. Let's take a quick look behind the scenes at each of these remarkable stations. FreeFM, WFAN, New York.
We're FreeFM. We're free to talk about anything we want to talk about. We're free to engage the audience in any way that the on-air talent wants to engage the audience.
They let us get away with everything.
We've gotten even more foreground than we were before. It used to be that we had one day part morning drive where we had the biggest personality probably in the history of the medium. Now we have personalities throughout the day.
I guess we're supposed to say that we're happy to be back. Happy! With CBS Radio. I couldn't be happier. Opie likes to be a little sarcastic with this whole thing. Thank you, CBS.
We have Opie and Anthony, JV and Elvis, Jim Cramer, Penn Jillette, and the Radio Chick, 5 of the most outstanding talent on any radio station in the country. The same format that engages the listeners and gets them involved in our on-air product that is presented by these outstanding on-air personalities also gives the advertisers a chance to benefit from live reads from all those personalities.
While the entire diamond industry seems to be on vacation,
people don't turn it off because our personalities do things during the breaks that aren't scheduled as well as during their regular shows. And you're going to be laughing at a lot of things that they say.
FreeFM, WFNY-FM, New York, and streaming at 923freefm.com. Not only do we have FM talk, we have music. More music than anyone on Jack FM.
Jack FM is a variety of hits from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, playing what people want. The uniqueness of Jack FM is the variety of hits combined with having no jocks. We only have one voice that's represented on the radio station, and that's the voice of Jack.
We play what we want, not really caring what you want to hear. Jack FM.
Between advertisers and listeners saying that they needed a change, we determined that Jack FM was the new format for the radio station. Our listeners are basically families with 2+ kids that reside in the suburbs, and we're trying to reach that person that is sick of listening to top 40 music over and over again. Jack FM is a good advertising investment because it produces results. The industry as a whole has asked radio stations to recreate how they approach the business, and we have, and that is called Jack FM.
101.1 Jack FM, playing what we want.
CBS Radio New York also has the city's feel-good station.
The New Mix 1027. New York is moving to a new radio station. The New Mix 1027 is New York's classic dance mix.
I think the most fun about our radio station, not only working at Mix 1027, but listening to Mix 1027, is that it conjures up a lot of good times from the 70s, 80s, and 90s when we'd go to the clubs or we'd go to parties and we'd listen to a lot of fun music, just dance and have a good time.
The New Mix 1027, New York's one and only classic dance station. I'm Paco Lopez, en la casa contigo, and we're doing a super long...
Our listeners are mostly adult women and a good number of men as well, mostly ages 35 to 44. We're a radio station people put on to have fun with. So the radio station's volume is always up. And they're listening to the music, and obviously they hear the commercials that way too. So we get results because we're not a background radio station, we're very foreground.
The New Mix 1027.
We're doing a...
CBS Radio New York operates the nation's 2 greatest and most listened to all-news stations. And is there a more famous slogan in all of radio than this?
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
We've covered every big story from, the horrors of 9/11 to the blackouts, the plane crashes, urban unrest. But we're also there in the morning talking to ordinary New Yorkers. 2.5 million people in New York, New Jersey, Long Island. They're lawyers, doctors, big shots on Wall Street. They're the limo drivers who take them to and fro, the cabbies, the coffee cart guys. We talk to everybody and anybody who might be tuned into a radio.
Humidity now 71%. It's going up to 89 in Midtown with real field temperatures in the 90s. When's news time?
Everything that we present to our listeners is information. We'll tell you if the tunnel or the bridge is better for traffic. We tell you if the Yankees or the Mets won. We'll tell you what airline to fly. We'll talk about what the stock market did. And that airline was a commercial. It's just all information to our listeners. They believe what we tell them. And it's a lot of credibility to the advertisers. We've extended the 1010 Wins brand very aggressively online, and we think it better serves our listeners. They can listen to the radio station streaming now on their computers. And our website is a very rich site with a lot of unique content different from the broadcast, which still gives them that same news that we promise.
No matter what the means of delivery, whether it's a 50,000 watt transmitter, whether it's the internet, no matter what it is, you've got to have content. People want to hear the stories. We're still flesh and blood. It's the stories, it's our words, it's our feeling. That's what really counts. That's what makes an impact. That's what people remember.
CBS Radio New York also operates the flagship radio station of CBS News.
When you need to know.
WCBS is news, traffic, and weather for New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut.
We are News Radio.
But we're not just that. We're the credible voice, the trusted voice of CBS News in New York, so that when people hear news, traffic, and weather from WCBS, they know that behind that promise is honesty, integrity, passion, and a voice that's been in New York, been part of the fabric of New York for almost 40 years now.
WCBS News Time 3:04. And we are covering a deadly building collapse in Queens this afternoon.
What we try to do is bring you the best information that's possible that's out there. That's one of the ideas behind what we call pinpoint weather. We're trying to pinpoint different locations, who's going to be seeing what kind of weather, where, and when. Watching a line of showers and thunderstorms right now coming out of Pennsylvania. They're very intense.
When the information comes from WCBS, there's a trust there. And conversely, when people who advertise with us have their voice heard on WCBS, it's the very same situation.
That ball is high. It is far. WCBS 880 New York. Yankees win.
We really enjoy showing Yankee fans who may not have ever known about our news product what we can do. And we know that they're, at some point when they're in front of a computer, like all of us are nowadays, that when they want to get caught up on something, they'll go to us, and they know us as the trusted brand both online and on the air. We're no longer a radio station. We're a brand of news.
WCBS 880 and WCBS880.com. We are News Radio.
And CBS Radio New York is proud to operate America's first and foremost all-sports station.
It's New York's hometown sports radio station, plus the home of Don Imus. We have a dedicated and loyal following because of the unique product and the programming on the radio station.
In the morning
You start with Don Imus in the morning.
Hang on so we can get you a dress, you moron. Here's Cindy from Ohio. Good morning, Cindy.
What's that?
Mike and Mad Dog in the afternoon.
I remember, I was on the other. My shoe was on the other side. I won 103 games in 93, and I didn't make the playoffs.
No one cares.
They owe me one.
Integrate into that the great play-by-play sports of the Mets and the New Jersey Nets and the Devils, and of course the New York Giants. And you've got a really unique radio station that really is not duplicated anywhere in America. The station is now streaming. We can then complement the radio reach to give people the ability to be on a stream, do podcast. Everybody wants to stand out, and I think these technologies give the ability for advertisers to stand out.
Sports Radio 66, The Fan, WFAN.
Times are changing. Each day, new choices emerge, and listeners and advertisers are pulled in many different directions. But a few things haven't changed. The CBS Radio New York cluster reaches close to 6 million adults 18 plus each week. The CBS Radio New York cluster delivers integrated marketing solutions for our clients. The CBS Radio New York cluster offers advertisers over $131 billion in buying power annually. We continue to evolve with new technologies and solutions to deliver greater entertainment and information for our listeners and results for our clients. CBS Radio. On air, online, on demand.